Joining us right now, as I mentioned, we do have the Vice President of Pharmacy Affairs for CVS Caremark. I'm gonna try my best. Papatya Tankut. How's that?
Good morning. That's great. Papatya, yes. Hello.
Papatya, how are you this morning?
Good, thank you. How are you?
Good. So here now, as the Vice President of Pharmacy Affairs for CVS Caremark, what that sounds very impressive. What do you have to do?
Well, that's great. I'm a pharmacist by trade, and I work with governmental, non-governmental, nonprofit organizations to really help enhance pharmacy care.
Okay, well, thanks for doing that.
Thank you.
Okay. So I understand you're here to talk to us today about how to navigate the recent Medicare changes for people living with diabetes. I don't know these changes, but I'm interested to hear.
Sure, I'm happy to explain it. And I just wanted to spend a few minutes just talking about, in July of this year, there have been some changes to Medicare. They launched a new national mail order program for diabetes supplies. So what that means is it caused some mail providers and some drugstores that used to accept Medicare Part B that covers test strips and diabetes supplies to exit from the program. What that means for patients living with diabetes is that they probably may not be able to purchase some of those supplies where they have in the past.
And why was this change made?
I don't know. It's a change made by Medicare. I'm not really exactly sure why they made the change, but I think change happens on a regular basis, and this happened in July.
Okay. All right. So now where they can't get these supplies? Where do they have to go?
So, you're right. So some of the mail programs that patients used to be able to go to, and some drugstores ended their acceptance, but we're happy to report that CVS Pharmacy is committed to continuing the coverage for Medicare Part B in all of our stores across the nation. So, patients that need those diabetes supplies can get them at a CVS Pharmacy.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm sure they're thrilled to hear about that.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, it's, when you think about living with diabetes, there are 25 million patients living with diabetes, and every 17 seconds someone new is diagnosed. And it can be costly to manage diabetes. So being able to get coverage and being able to get those testing supplies under Medicare Part B becomes very important.
Yeah, I'm sure it does. For everybody living with diabetes, yeah, you need to get those supplies.
Absolutely.
So what else is happening in the world of CVS and change and Medicare and all those things? We tell us something else. Fascinate us.
Well, the one thing what I'll tell you about with the recent changes with Medicare program for diabetes is we've got a extra care for Advantage diabetes program. So not only do we have pharmacists and stores can help patients living with diabetes, work through the Medicare Part B coverage, but in addition to that, we have the extra care Advantage for diabetes program where patients living with diabetes can join and receive double extra bucks on over 100 products that help them with managing their diabetes.
How do they join this program?
They can go to cvs.com, and through there they can join the Extra Care Advantage for Diabetes program right online at cvs.com, or they can go to the store and speak with their local pharmacy team members.
Now, you talked about the numbers of Americans that have diabetes, and every, 5 seconds?
Every 17 seconds someone new is diagnosed, yeah.
Are those rates on the decline or on the rise?
You know what? I actually don't know that for a fact. I mean, I know the numbers are alarmingly high, but I'm not sure if it's on the rise or low. I mean, I think, we hear a lot about, diabetes is a chronic disease that affects millions of people and continues to do so. So I don't think the numbers are necessarily going down, but definitely a serious problem out there.
What is being done as far as research to cure this?
I'm not necessarily sure that I know the exact research about it. I know there's a tremendous amount of, probably manufacturers and research labs out there that continue to look for, medications and cures for diabetes, but I'm not familiar with exact research that may be done right now around that.
Like, is this one of these things, if you are diagnosed with this, if you catch it earlier, at this point, it doesn't matter. Once you have this, you have this.
Well, it's two things, right? So sometimes, patients are diagnosed with prediabetes, so they're showing symptoms that may be high blood sugar. And with that, there are some lifestyle changes that you can make, whether it's increasing activity, exercise, adjusting your diet. And then some people that have diabetes, it can actually be really easily managed with medication, with exercise, with insulin, with, a continuous chronic care, which is why it's so important to stay compliant with medication, have the appropriate test strips and test supplies that you need. So you can live a healthy life, The challenges you run into is when you're not doing those things is when you can run into complications that can be really, in some cases detrimental. But typically you can live a healthy life with lifestyle changes and with medication if you do have diabetes.
So anybody's, I guess, at risk to develop diabetes, but it's preventable.
No.
With lifestyle, I think a healthy diet with exercise and activity in your life, there are ways in which you can minimize your risks of.
Yeah, you can't prevent it if you're.
I just don't understand how the diagnosis happens. Is it based on DNA? I mean, it's not something somebody sneezes on you have diabetes.
Well, in some cases, it is based on your pancreas not producing enough insulin. So there are some, juvenile diabetes where young children have it, and it could be just based on your body. But there are other cases where you can develop it based on your intake or lack of exercise or the food that you eat that can. In fact, we've seen situations where people have been able to control it with exercise and lifestyle factors.
But I mean, there are certain people that are going to get this. I mean, they're physically fit and they have a good lifestyle, and they're still diagnosed with diabetes.
That's right, which is why it's so important to ensure that when they are on medication and when they are on taking, treatment for it, that they're compliant and they remain on schedule in order to ensure that they maintain a healthy lifestyle living with diabetes and prevent complications of the disease. So that is easy to do with adhering and being compliant to the medication that's prescribed.
So my half gallon of ice cream every night isn't gonna.
That's fine.
Okay,
yeah, you're fine.
I'm prone to be more diabetic now because I have chronic pancreatitis. So my pancreas, and that could be.
Is that why you drink Fresca?
Yes,
now
I drink Squirt. But yes, so there's certain medications you could be on that are breaking your pancreas down. So you got to be careful of that.
I'm pretty sure most of the stuff you're doing is breaking down something big.
Yeah. It's true.
Yeah.
But
your liver doesn't stand a chance.
Oh, it's dead.
The way you drink.
I punish it.
Well, is there anything else we are missing here?
Yeah, no, I just would say that if listeners want more information, or if they have a loved one that's living with diabetes or is concerned about or has questions about Medicare Part B coverage, they can visit cvs.com/Medicare for more information.
All right. Well, I thank you for your time.
Thank you very much.
Okay, bye. This was an unplanned interview coming up next. This is a follow-up to our earlier interview. Joining us right now, Mike Franklin. He's the CEO over there at AGH. And the president. Good morning, Mike.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm doing well, Bulldog. How are you?
Good. And I guess we were making mistakes this morning about diabetes, and you need to correct us.
I don't know if it was so much mistakes, but It was a little bit off. And the person that you enjoyed her last name didn't have a whole lot of the information that's probably more important for people to hear.
Okay, please. I certainly do appreciate you clearing this up. Okay.
Well, the biggest part about it, you all ask good questions about who gets diabetes. And yes, anybody can get it. And you ask questions about, is diabetes on the rise? And the answer, unfortunately, is yes. And the biggest part about that, actually the scariest part about that is there are two types of diabetes, type 1 diabetes, type 2 diabetes. Type 1 is more the genetic one you were talking about, where people get it as a kid or they have a lot of trouble with it.
Right, you're predisposed to this because of who you're genetically. Right. Okay.
Type 2 diabetes.
And so that one, type 1, I don't care how you live your life. If you're going to get it, you're going to get it, right?
You're going to get it, and you're going to get it at a young age, and you're going to have to learn how to deal with it and those types of things.
All right.
Type 2 diabetes we get because of our bad habits. Or you can have a predisposition for it. I'm one of those people that's lucky enough to have a predisposition for it genetically.
Okay.
But there are those, but folks get that, and they get that from obesity is the number one cause of that. And unfortunately, type 2 diabetes is on the rise more so in adolescents and children than it is on the rise in older folks nowadays.
Now, which one is I don't want to say either one's easier, but to control it? I know certain people have to take insulin. Other people do it with a pill, right?
Well, it's type 2 diabetes. And the big part when you talk about controlling it, and you ask the question, can it be cured? The answer is yes, it can.
Okay.
And it can be cured through weight loss, diet, and exercise, as the person was speaking. There are also ways that folks that are morbidly obese that qualify for bariatric surgery. Bariatric surgery, why it's been approved by Medicare to be used, has shown to actually cure diabetes because of the weight loss component. The people lose that interference with their pancreas that they've been having and are able to get on top of it and actually cure diabetes. So it ends up saving Medicare and saving all money in healthcare costs because of the ability to get rid of the diabetes.
Gotcha. Now, is there something that may be a sign? Like, are there symptoms that say, hey, maybe I should get checked out for this?
Honestly, you're going to your doctor regularly is something that can pull this out because it's simple to diagnose through blood tests.
Okay.
And they have certain blood tests. Of course, they check your blood sugar when you go in for fasting. There's a simple blood test called a hemoglobin A1C that they can track where you are. And if you get above this magic number of 7, then you're diabetic, 6 to 7, pre-diabetic, and then below. So they manage you based upon monitoring that those blood tests. So it's easy to diagnose.
If someone were to be at the 6 to 7 range, at that point, they're not diabetic yet, or they're close, you said?
Right, and that's where I am.
Okay, and so you
some people again are predisposed because we don't get to pick our parents and we don't get to pick our genes.
Right.
And so I have this condition called metabolic syndrome or syndrome X, and it's where your where your pancreas, it's called insulin resistance. So when you eat a lot of sugars and carbohydrates, you don't break them down as well. You end up storing them up, and it creates a problem.
Okay, so I mean, I've suffered.
When I'm listening to you, I was exercising because of that problem.
I suffer.
We're actually exercising now, Mike. Right now.
Yes, I realize that.
The pancreas produces your insulin. You need that, obviously, to live. You can't live without your pancreas. But my concerns were my amylase. You can't live without your pancreas.
Yeah, you can. We can substitute for that. People who have pancreatic cancer have their pancreases removed.
Okay, well, then I might be in good luck if I need it
you may want to check your books, Mike. Al knows a lot about this stuff.
Told me I couldn't live without it over there at AGH. But now they always were concerned with my amylase and lipase numbers. Everything to do with me being diabetic or being prone to it?
Now you're getting into other pancreatic functions and other liver functions and things that
they don't coincide. They're two separate numbers. Nothing to do with the other.
No, one is how your body's responding to your pancreas creating insulin. The other talks about how your pancreas, the healthiness of your pancreas. So it could indirectly, because if you don't have a healthy pancreas, then you're getting deeper into biochemistry.
Okay.
You're getting beyond where I get into the literature and a lot of the public health stuff, and getting into the biochemistry and the function of more into anatomy and physiology than where I go.
Okay, no, listen, we appreciate you taking us this far. Now the relay continues. We need a biochemist now to call. I'm going to pick up where those last two interviews left off.
Yeah, we have lots of good internists out there. They can help you.
Let's see how far we can go with this, chain.
You know, it's amazing. You have no idea how many of our staff members you have seen over there at AGH in the last, say, 48 hours. All you guys, they've all been there. Big Al was there. Yeah. Bigler was there. Randy. Everybody's over there. So we'll stop in and say.
Hopefully they're just visiting somebody.
I wish.
We wish. Yeah,
the doctor.
But anyway,
Thank you.
The biggest point I wanted to make is that, yes, we can get it. Diet and exercise and having an appropriate weight is what's most important. I take a little pill every day now because I'm in that pre-diabetic range, but I have to exercise regularly and keep my weight down.
Okay.
And there are lots of these things we can do to take care of it. But part of the problem is in our county, we have 50% more diabetes on a proportionate basis than the rest of the state or on the nation on average.
And
so it's a big issue in our county.
And you attribute that to what?
Well, that could be
our county
diet and lifestyle. And part of it is we don't have the best dietary habits in this region unless we work on it really hard.
Oh.
So a lot of high carbohydrates. A lot of it is also genetic. Some of it can be racial factors because there's a higher proportion of African Americans with diabetes than there are non-African Americans. So So some of it is driven by the population, but some of it is also just driven by our choices.
You mentioned the diet thing. What about our public school system's food going, in the wrong direction? Does that have a lot to do with the younger kids? Because the public school care system, the foods, they keep saying the diets are worse and worse there.
Well, that is important, but a lot of kids pack their lunches, and we have a lot of, and yes, they have healthy choices, but that means the kids have to make it. The people serving the food can't tell the kid, no, this is what you're going to eat today.
Is there some place to find out? I don't know if you guys have it at AGH or somewhere we can find out, like, what foods may be better. Are there certain foods that are higher in, I don't know, omegas seems to come to mind, but are there certain foods that you should eat to help control this?
Yeah, there's lots of folks, and you can get online to there's Diabetes Association. You can also go on our website because we have a diabetes educator on our program. We have a bariatric program. Okay. It gets into a lot of those particular issues with diabetes, but it can also link you to the right places to go through our website.
What's your website?
AtlanticGeneral.org.
AtlanticGeneral.org. Mike, I certainly do appreciate it. There's thanks for, as I said, picking up that ball and running with us. Yeah, because she didn't answer a lot of our questions. That's for sure.
and you guys, while you're having fun, I was afraid I didn't want you to be misinformed because we can help you too.
Thanks. Yeah. No. Listen, I have an ideal weight. I just need to find the ideal height to match it.
You're exactly right.
Yeah. All right. Thanks again, Mike. Appreciate your time.
All right, guys.
Thanks.
Bye.
All right. Mike Franklin over there, the CEO and president at AGH. Very nice of him to do that.